want to show you a few what I call command line tricks. And I've sort of shown you a little bit of this, but I want to take it a little bit further today and a little bit deeper and show you some of the ways that people use the command line to make programs that look a little bit more attractive. Because what we're all used to is something that looks like this, that's got windows and icons, and we have the mouse, so we can click things, and that's just kind of the visuals that we're used to. If you got a new iPhone or you updated your iOS, now you've got that beautiful liquid glass with the semi-transparent. That's about as far removed from the command line as you can get. But there are still a few things that we can do to sort of spruce up the command line and make the user experience a little bit more pleasant. And this is like the high end, right? This is sort of how we sometimes do things. So if I'm creating a real program and I want the user to have a more polished experience, I might present them with something like this, where I have a calculator and it's giving them the choice to change from Fahrenheit to Celsius or Celsius to Fahrenheit. And it sort of walks them through, it gives them instructions, it looks a little bit more professional. Granted, it's nothing close to what we're used to seeing or used to interacting with. You still will, at different times in your programming career, if you become a software engineer, have instances where you're going to work on the command line, where you're going to develop programs for the command line. So having the ability to create programs that look a little bit more visually interesting or attractive or usable is useful. So how did I create this? I'll tell you right now, I didn't have to print every other character, and this is not a triple quote and just hack it out kind of a thing. When Python views the screen that it's outputting things on, it views it like this. It's like a giant grid, and each grid can contain one character, which means that whether I put a period or in something or a W or an L, it doesn't matter what character it is, it always takes up one space. So I can use that to my advantage because I know that if I go 10 spaces over, it's going to line up, right? So I can use some really basic math to create different things. And in fact, people have done some pretty cool stuff over the years. This is called ASCII art, right? Maybe you're familiar with this, maybe you've seen it. But using regular characters and this kind of spacing techniques, you can create almost anything. Here's an interesting thing. Let me see if I can find it really quick. The other day I uploaded the BC logo. Let me see. Where is it? No. Oh, I don't know if I can find it. That's too bad. Here, let's just do it this way. Make this logo into ASCII art. Now, let me see. Bakersfield College logo. There it is. Copy. Paste. 60 characters wide. Come on, ChatGPT. So I'm going to let that think for a second. But when we're wanting to put together an interface, we can sort of envision how these things work, right? So you can sort of map it out in your head. You could use actual graph paper, or you can just play around and tinker with things. But this is actually not very hard at all to create. And in fact, just takes a few short lines of code. So if I wanted to say print this times 60, right? There's a line of 60 of those. Now, typically, this grid traditionally has been 80 pixels wide or 80 spaces wide. You can do 60, you can do 80. This depends on what's comfortable. You don't want to do it too wide. You don't want to do it like 100 wide because you definitely don't want users to have to scroll sideways when they use your programs. So 60 is a good small number. But if I wanted to, let's say, print this next line, right? I have, let's say this is 60 wide. So I have two number signs, and then I would have how many? 50s, 56? Yeah, 56, and then two more, right? So if I print this times 2 plus that times 56 plus this times, or this times 2, okay? So you get the idea. It's pretty easy. But now, how do I get this? Now I could. There's a formula for this. There's a way to figure this out, right? If I reverse engineer it, I could figure out the line is 60 wide, and then I could count how many characters are in this part, and I could subtract that, and then I subtract the 2 on each end, and that's how many total white space characters I have on either side of it. And then I could just divide that in half, and I could build it that way. But Python gives us a much easier way. So for that middle part, I'm just going to go, welcome to Python, just like that. And I'm going to say center 56. And what that says is not welcome. There we go. Now it says welcome. It says welcome to Python. And it's going to say, it's going to take that string and it's going to center it in a line of 56 spaces automatically. So now I get to really easily, I'm just going to copy and paste those out in the reverse order. And there is my little user interface, right? So now I've had students do all kinds of stuff with this. Let's check on our ChatGPT progress. Okay, so I did the first part. Output the whole logo. We're gonna take a minute and come back to it. But that is sort of how we get started with building user interfaces. So you want to think about not just what is it saying, but you want to think about how does it look and what kind of a thing do I want to present to users for my user interface. So again, here are some common tricks. The first one just multiplies that string times 80. This right here centers that string in a line of 60. This one just prints 74 blank spaces in the middle of that. So you can use those patterns. And there are a couple more. Print. If I say left justify in a line of 60, print by are just in a line of 60. Let's run that. I want to show you these tricks too. Okay, so now you can't really see it on this one, but it is filling up because I put left justify. What it's saying is you're going to take up 60 blocks with spaces. And in the left side of that 60 blocks, you're going to put this. so that the total of all of that takes up 60. So if I printed something at the end of this, it would start right here, not next to hello. So it's keeping my block intact. Now this one's a little easier to see. Right justify, what it does is it says take 60 spaces, put that string on the right-hand side of it. Okay, so those are just some more little tricks that you can use. And the nice thing about right justify is if you use right justify and you're doing something with money, like let's say you have a list of account balances, like how nice is it to have them line up so that you have the decimals line up? That's just a way of presenting those that's a little bit cleaner and nicer. So those are some of the tricks.